Many people are interested to reduce their cholesterol levels without using statins, which certainly seem to have some undesirable side effects. So this interview with Dr. Paul Clayton is particularly relevant.
Firstly, cholesterol is not really where the science is any longer. We used to think cholesterol was important, but it's probably a secondary factor. And it's not a good biomarker. About half of all heart attacks occur in people with normal levels of cholesterol. Okay. And it turns out it's not the cholesterol in your diet, it's the absence of fruits and veg. Because it's not the cholesterol in your blood that matters, it's how inflamed your arteries are. And they're inflamed if you don't eat enough fruits and veg. Now the drug industry won't hear of this because they want to sell statins, and by golly they do it. They pack all the boards that decide what cholesterol levels doctors are going to stop medicating at. They're not very effective at protecting you against heart disease, high incidence side effects. I wouldn't touch them with a barge pole. Forget about cholesterol. That's not really where it's at. Instead, what we now understand is the real problem in causing vascular disease is chronic inflammation.
It's internal.
Yes, which in terms of the heart and blood vessels is something called endothelial dysfunction. So it's inflammation of the linings of the arteries. And that is what causes the buildup of atheroma, and it causes blockages and bleeds, and that's really the issue. Statins are just the wrong tool to use. To stop inflammation, just increase your intake of the right anti-inflammatory compounds, and that will calm the linings of the blood vessels and allow them to damp the inflammation down, allow them to heal. Now they're nice and smooth again, they're not rough, they're not going to attract white blood cells and further inflammation. And at this point, it doesn't really matter how high your cholesterol levels are. So the important thing is to stop them from getting inflamed.
Right. Fair.
The same as with all of the other chronic degenerative diseases, omega-3s, polyphenols, beta-glucans. Get those things right, and you won't develop vascular disease, whether it's in the heart, the brain, or anywhere else. And add to that the right electrolytes, cutting down on sodium, enough of magnesium, potassium, you won't have the blood pressure issues, and at that point, your heart will be fine.
Dr. Clayton emphasized the word inflammation. And this is important because we now know from the latest medical research that inflammation is a key driver of what we know as age-related diseases. And this is called chronic subclinical inflammation. In other words, it's long-term, it's basically undetectable, but it's very, very dangerous. And you'll see that it is an underlying driver of not just heart disease and stroke, but now cancer. So this quote from Professor Russell Tracy is hardly an exaggeration. Inflammatory factors predict virtually all bad outcomes in humans. You see, if inflammation of this type, this subclinical inflammation, is not reduced, it can lead to heart disease, stroke, cancers, dementia, diabetes, sexual dysfunction, osteoporosis, and skin aging. Now, Dr. Clayton has been researching the impact of diet and nutrition and supplements on health for the last 30 years. And drawing on that research, he's combined the most protective nutrients as identified from the world's healthiest diets into a daily supplement. That supplement is called NutriShield, and it combines not just rich levels of vitamins and minerals, essentially to the level of a vegetarian diet, with a powerful range of anti-inflammatory and antioxidant nutrients. So go now to NutriShield.com to see more details of this advanced supplement.